If you find yourself always being the strong one, the over responsible one, the question becomes, how do I stop without feeling guilty? Because here's the truth, if you overfunction, it's not because you're controlling, it's because you care. And when you pull back just a little bit, here comes guilt trying to come in just like some uninvited guest who just will not get the hint to leave. Today, we're talking about how to stop overfunctioning in such a way that you don't have to be cold, you don't have to blow up your relationships, and you can avoid the whole guilt spiral. First of all, let's define what guilt is anyway. According to the dictionary definition, guilt is the fact of having committed a specified or implied offense or crime. And many of us have felt guilty in the past, and it's not like we've committed any crime. Maybe we just wanted to take some time for ourselves. The feeling of guilt is not about actually doing something wrong. Our brain wants us to keep doing the same things that we have been doing. So if you have been over functioning for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, then your brain thinks this is what we are supposed to do. So anytime you make a little change, then you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But that is to be expected. What you're experiencing is not a moral failure. What it is a pattern disruption. And your brain really doesn't like when patterns are disrupted. Welcome, Queen. I am Dr. Monique. I'm a life coach and I'm an educator. But more importantly, I'm a woman who reinvented my life during midlife. I was able to identify the pattern that was keeping me stuck. Personally, the pattern I identified with was the over-responsible woman who overfunctions. So this video is near and dear to my heart. But it was when I identified this pattern that I was able to change. And this is why I created the next chapter, Pattern Reveal. And it's a tool that will help you to identify where you are now so that you can make that change without any shame, without any guilt. So then you can go forth and you can really maximize your life. And that's linked in the description below. We'll get a chance to talk a little bit more about that. But first, let's talk about how you can stop overfunctioning without feeling like you're going to be swallowed by guilt. The first practical step is for you to pause before you rescue. If you see a loved one or a friend or a coworker who may be struggling a little bit, you can step back a little bit and give them the opportunity to solve the problem on their own. And if they do ask you for help, don't just jump in. Ask the questions. Give them a chance to figure it out on their own. You may want to offer some advice, but you don't have to just immediately take over. You can ask them, oh, so what things have you already done? What are you considering doing? So these questions will help empower them because truly they're smart and they can figure it out. These questions put the responsibility where it belongs. You don't have to abandon them. You don't have to neglect them, but they will be empowered. Another question to ask is, whose responsibility is it? If it's truly your responsibility, yes, go handle it. But if it's the person who's asking you, if it's his or her responsibility, then give them the chance. But let's say it is your boss wanting you to solve another coworker's responsibility. Yes, we're going to give that coworker the opportunity to solve his or her own problem as well, because it just builds them up. And this is coming from a place where I have been in positions where I know that I'm making the exact amount or very similar in terms of salary with the next person, yet my supervisor is asking me to do part of this other person's job. That's just not fair. And if this happens to you in multiple situations, you are the common denominator. So you are going to have to be the one who's going to have to establish some healthy boundaries. Let's normalize something. Being an adult is not easy. Remember when you were a child, it looked easy, right? And maybe you thought, if you're like me, I'm going to live here. I'm going to drive this kind of car. I'm going to go on these vacations. I'm going to eat like this. I'm going to give my kids what they want. Like, it just seemed like everything was going to be so easy. And then once you become an adult, you're like, okay, there are some lessons that have to be learned. It is okay for adults to struggle a little bit. You know what? Actions have consequences, and it is okay for adults to learn this. So if an adult mismanages their money and they don't have enough to pay their bills, then maybe they will have a late fee. Maybe they will incur some inconvenience, and that is okay. I have determined I will not be in the business of trying to save any adult from having any type of hardship, because I have had to work hard. There have been times where I worked 2 jobs, where I worked a full-time job, was in school full-time, and had kids and church responsibilities, right? Household responsibilities. Life is not always going to be easy. So I believe that we do the adults in our lives, our friends, our relatives, a disservice if we're always there to solve their problems, if we're always there to cushion any fall that they may have. That sometimes this causes them to miss out on growth opportunities. I'm very interested in the whole metamorphosis of the butterfly. That whole transition just really, really fascinates me. So I don't know if you knew this, but when caterpillars go into the chrysalis, and then, they go in there and they do this whole transformation, when they're getting ready to come out, it takes them a little while to come out of the chrysalis. The thing is, you may have some well-meaning human who will come by and be like, oh, look at the little butterfly trying to come out. Let me help the butterfly. If you do that, you will hurt the butterfly to the point where it will never be able to fly. Part of the development is for this butterfly to struggle to get out of the chrysalis. During that process, it is formed, right? Some of the fluids are released, they're kind of squeezed out so that they can go forth and fly. If someone helps them, they will never fly. And in the same way, if we're always helping, we are preventing them from being able to flourish and truly be the people that they were meant to be. We are stopping them from soaring. So we have to think of it. That's just a different reframe. So you don't have to feel guilty because you know that as you provide support, but you don't actually solve the problems, that you're able to better assist them growing and developing. Just think about the one person that comes to mind when you think of being over responsible or over functioning. If you always solve their problems, they don't get to develop their problem solving abilities. And you got a chance to develop your problem solving abilities, and that's why you were able to accomplish all the things that you have accomplished. We do not want to take that away from our loved ones. So again, we're going to normalize the fact that being an adult is not always easy, that sometimes we have to make difficult decisions. Sometimes things don't happen the way that we want them to happen. Sometimes if we make bad decisions, we have to suffer the consequences, and it is okay. And you can take comfort in knowing that in the end, they will be better people because of it. So this one is big. Sometimes we overperform and overfunction because we have equated love with labor. So if I love you, then I will do all of these things for you. If I love you, then I will carry that burden for you so you don't have to carry it. Right? So the thing is, I'm a Christian, so we're not supposed to be carrying other people's burdens. We shouldn't even be carrying our own burdens, right? We can turn those over to Jesus. You don't want to be in the position where people are just coming to you with all of their problems knowing that you will fix it, right? But you think, if I love you, then that means that I will sacrifice my own comfort. If I love you, then I will sacrifice my own dreams, my own desires. That if I truly love this person, then I will sacrifice everything that I want so they can have what they want. And I've actually been there. I thought about when people say about a woman, she's let herself go. On the one hand, people could say that I had gained some weight and what have you. But on the other hand, I'd had this epiphany that I had truly let myself go. Like, I didn't know where Monique was anymore. I just gave and gave and gave. It was almost like I only existed to serve other people. And that's definitely not ideal. So the Bible says that we are to love others as we love ourselves. So it is so important. It's so important that you love yourself, that you take care of yourself. Then and only then will you even have the capacity to express this love to those around you. And they will appreciate it even more. Because sometimes when we just give and give, people just end up taking it for granted. Yes, she'll always be there. She'll always have my back. She will always sacrifice what she wants to do for me. But that's not healthy. You can love someone enough to encourage them to solve their own problems, for them to figure out a solution to their own situation. So love says, I believe in you. I'm proud of you. I know you can handle it. I know you can do it. And then that way, they can build up their self-esteem and you don't have to be exhausted. See, that's a win-win. And as you're making this change, be careful about your language. Instead of saying, I feel so bad that I'm not helping them. Oh my goodness, I feel so guilty. I'm such a horrible person. Don't say anything like that. Restructure it, right? I'm all about the reframe. You can say things along the line of, I'm practicing encouraging others to solve problems. I am setting healthy boundaries. I no longer overfunction. And just know that as you continue practicing the behavior and you practice identifying that behavior with your speech, then you will get better and better at it. And these shifts in language, they get rid of the shame and the guilt, because you're not letting people down, but you're evolving. And you also get to show them an example of a person who sets boundaries, who loves herself while still continuing to love and support them. You're not failing at all. This over-responsible pattern is just one of 4 patterns. Some people need to ask permission for everything. Some people restart. They just keep starting over and over again. And others just kind of drift. But again, it's important that you look at the next chapter, pattern revealed, and you know where you are. So let's be honest. Sometimes we overfunction because we like to be needed. And we feel like it gives people a reason to love us, right? We may feel responsible. It can give us a sense of power. But the thing is, you don't have to work like that to be loved. You deserve to be loved because of who you are. And you also deserve rest. So I'm going to ask you to give yourself some compassion. If you had a friend, you might tell her to rest, to relax, that person doesn't need her to do this thing right now. So be like your own best friend. What would you say? What advice would you give? And I'm not saying that this is going to be easy, because it's not. You have been operating within this pattern for years. Once you identify, you know there's a better way, then you can shift the pattern. So here's your homework for this week. Find one area where you overfunction and make the shift. We're going to start off small. Don't do something big and elaborate. You don't have to go quit your job. But do something small so that you know you're building your muscles so that you can stop over functioning. Instead of instantly resolving an issue or instantly rescuing someone, give them a chance to work out the problem on their own. Give them a chance to work it out. Let someone else stretch. Let someone else come up with the solution. If guilt tries to show up like that uninvited guest, kick him out. Let him know that you are just changing the pattern. You are disrupting the pattern. And before you just try to be better again and just try to use discipline to change everything, go ahead and download the next chapter, Pattern Reveal, so you can truly see what is going on. So if you've ever wondered, why do I keep doing this? This will explain it. The link is below. Strength is not in doing everything. Strength is knowing when to stop. And I will see you next time. Be blessed.